Okay, so in the first video, I have described about the overall framework of the strategy, and in this one, I'll try to explain, I'll be more precise about the conditions and what should be made and how do we spot the divergence, the exact uh, mathematical or analytical setups, and try to explain everything here. So as I mentioned there, that the first condition should be to look at the Bollinger Band. So at any point, uh, for example, let us define that where the market is it. So for example, let us think about this phase, this bar particularly. Here. So on this bar, if we start looking from this point, we can see the lower Bollinger Band is downwards. The upper Bollinger Band is probably also downwards. Can't see it. Let me bring it down. Yeah. So the upper Bollinger Band is also going down. So that means basically the system is looking at the BB high is lower than the previous BB high, and the BB low is lower than the previous BB low. So that means the market is in a trending mode. It is not contracting. So we have to only look at the trend following system, which is basically look at the position of this indicator here, and preferably to wait for a fresh trend to begin, because this has been going on for some time. The indicator has already started its downtrend from this level, so better to wait for a fresh trend. But it is a simple straightforward, but the crucial one is to identify and understand how this divergence works. So and yeah, and one more thing is, not only the BB upper and the BB lower one, we can also look at the central line, which is the moving average, and see how it is pointed. So here we can see the central line is also pointing downwards. The previous value was higher than the current value, so that means confirm that we are in a downtrend. So we can create a filter later that in this situation we will only take, irrespective of what this thing my indicator showing, we will only take the short trades or sell trades, because my trend indication here, it is clearly downside. So that can be a filter that in these scenarios we will never take the up trades, even if we get some signals, so we will not go take those. Now coming back to divergence, when we identify that the market is in a ranging state, in that case the where it is going to be, for example, here, yeah, from this point onwards, from this bar onwards, the BB low has started moving up. This is just a example. The BB low has started moving up, and the BB high is also coming down. So that means it's a contraction mode, and we can the system should start looking for divergence here. Now, how divergence is defined? Let us take the short ones or the bearish ones. Now the bearish ones has to be that if I convert this chart into a line chart, it is easy to understand. So it has to look for peak to peak divergence for bearish things. So peak means what? It's very clear. A peak is a peak when we have a close which is at the higher than the previous one, and the next close is lower than the current one. So that is defined as a peak. Here this is a peak point because this close was lower, this close was also lower, so this is a peak. Simple. And how do we see the peaks and troughs in the divergence here in the indicator? This is also very simple. At this point here we have the highest value, the previous one was low. At this point we have the lower value, so this is a peak. Once again, this is also a peak because this one is lower and this one is lower. So this is a kind of peak formed here. So these are the comparison area. So basically what we are comparing is between these two peaks and these two peaks, and comparing the value. This close is lower than this close, this value is higher than this value. So this is a hidden divergence. And in case of classic divergence, just opposite will be the case. This peak will be higher than the previous peak, and the indicator peak will be lower than the previous peak. So that is how we define two bearish scenarios. And in case of bullish scenarios, as the opposite will happen. For example, here we have probably one between these two valleys. So this is a valley because valley, or we can call it trough. I think trough is the right word. So we have the higher close here, then low, and then higher close. So this is one trough. This is another trough because we have previous close is higher and the next close is also higher. So this is a trough. And between these two troughs, we can see that this trough was higher, this trough is lower. And let's see what happens in the indicator level. You can see here that which one? This one. So this was the indicator position here. It was a trough because this is higher than this and this is higher than this. So this is a trough, and this is also a trough, this point here. So we have higher, low, higher, and we can see there is clear divergence between these two scenarios. The price has gone down and the indicator has moved up. So this is a bullish scenario, and this is a classic bullish divergence. There will be a hidden bullish divergence when this bar will be pointed this side and this will be pointed that side somewhere. Say for example this case, it is not a divergence but just for example. So this is pointing upwards between these two troughs, and the indicator in this scenario has to point like this. Though it is not the case here, it has not happened, but ideally in case of hidden divergence, this should point downward, this should point upwards. Then we go for a bullish trend or a long trend. Thank you.